Hey, Troy here with A2D Racing. Finally back in the garage and going to give an update on what's been going on. So just been really busy past couple months and really just waiting on parts like everybody else. And I didn't want to like split it up without getting a good bit of stuff. And I don't do unboxing videos. That's, yeah, not doing it. Anyway, so the main thing we've been working on here is wiring. So before the holidays, I started talking about wiring and just pulling everything out, unraveling the stock harness. This is primarily done for weight simplifying stuff, taking wires out of components that are no longer going to be needed and just rewrapping everything up. I got pretty much to that point, and then I got to a couple of connectors that had one or two wires in, and quite frankly, I just wasn't happy with it. So what I decided, since we do want to reduce some weight and keep AC, of course, I went with a Racewire Solutions Power Core 3. It's their Pro Series. So what this is a relay module fuse block, and it gets rid of the OEM fuse blocks or fuse panels. So the one under the hood on SN95s, they go here and commonly relocated to this area. And the one that's under the dash, this guy right here, I'm going to now strip all this dash wiring out, only keep what I need for AC and heat. I am going to a Holley Dominator with Pro Dash, they're Pro Dash, so none of this stuff will be needed. This power core does flash blinkers, brake lights, and it has many other circuits that you can have configured the way you want. And mine is configured to work with Holley EFI. So this guy is pretty cool. What it comes with is a box of unterminated wire harnesses. They're all labeled outputs and output 2. They give you some shielded wire, or did I get that from somewhere else? Nope, they give you some shielded wire for some key sensors and whatnot. Switch panels. They give you a box of unterminated wires is the point. And you now then wire this into your components. So for example, on my brake lights, headlights, fog lights, I will run all of these harnesses, these wires, to each component, and I opted for additional length that gives me flexibility on where I mount the power core. Anyway, you run your wires, you cut your OEM harness at the connector or repin it, and you just run these wires. They're all labeled. They give you an instruction harness, so it tells you do this color wire red on bundle 2 for your starter. Red is 12-volt source and purple white is output. And same thing for your turn signals. It just tells you, hey, use this wire out of this bundle and send it to the front driver turn signal. Boom, down. Another tedious thing. What I picked up from Racewire Solutions as well is their billet turn signal piece. So you can mount this in something else. I already mounted it in their bracket option. You can flush mount this. It just pops right out of here, and then you can mount it wherever you want. So, turn signal, horn, fog lights, lows with fog, I think is what that is, or it's just low, and then high. So I picked up one of those. Comes with a little wire harness and a Deutsch connector already ready, and they give you the other side Deutsch connector. It's kind of like a hint. Guys, stop using cheap connectors. Use Deutsch, because that's what the industry is going to. But you now then have to pick up a set of Deutsch pin pliers. This set is a newer set. It's small in the hand. A lot of other ones are big. This is MH860. And I have a specific little, I forget what these are called, the positioners. So this one allows me to do certain amounts of pins, so 16 to 24 size pins, and these are only good for up to size 16 wire or pins. So matter of fact, I need to get another pair of DMC connectors to do my 12 components that are 12 to 14. Speaking of cheap connectors, man, these connectors are super expensive. You got to know about them. The numbers matter as far as the style, whether it's a DTC or DT connector. Honestly, I just cheaped out and I bought a set of Amazon Special G-Ready connectors. A buddy of mine locally does a lot of wiring for local cars, and he says that for the most, unless you're like a race team, these cheaper ones are good. Just make sure you get solid pins. And then for your components that really matter, like signals, get the gold terminals. So I picked up a bunch of these. I actually have some real ones, actual Deutsch branded connectors for components that I care a little bit more about. I have the real ones, and then some other stuff. So I got a set of solid pins and whatnot. Anyway, picked up that. I like it. And what this goes with is, as you saw here, I am getting rid of this super heavy steering column. I forget what I weighted. I'll put the weights in there. I think it's like 17 pounds or something crazy like that, to stop right here. Stopping at the OEM style steering shaft. And I picked up a motion one. So this is actually their new one. They just released this prior to holidays. It's a revised motion steering column, and they used a new style, or I think their own design of quick disconnect. They used to have a strange quick disconnect, and it had splines right here at the end where the steering wheel goes on. This one doesn't. It has this funky shape to it, but it makes it a lot easier. And I actually had the other one, and I sold it because I bought it right before Motion released this new one. And I sold it really quick, and then I got the new one, and I freaking like it much better. They changed some stuff. See if I can get this. They changed some stuff around here that makes it slide on the shaft. These are like some sort of rubber, or not rubber, but some sort of hardened plastic, like a Teflon or something, for like a bushing. And the other one had a little slop in it, and I didn't like it, but this one, much better. So, and another quick change, or a good change that they made on, picked up a Ford Racing steering wheel, so I'm going to use that. And I'll probably add a little bit of those button attachments. So anyway, you see this one is a 6-bolt. The old style Motion with the strange quick disconnect, you had to get a separate one of these steering wheel adapters that were either 5-bolt or 6-bolt. The new Motion one, they integrated both 5-bolt and 6-bolt patterns into this single piece. So no more, you just literally unbolt it, put whichever steering wheel you have on there. I like it. And the whole deal about their splines is this one makes it a lot easier to input on the spline. The other one, you had to like kind of line it up just right and then get it on and take it off. Wasn't a big deal, but just something they changed. And I like this one better. So kudos to you, Motion. And here as well is a solid state battery cutoff switch. I picked it up from Waytech. Some other manufacturers online sell this relabeled. I picked up Waytech cheaper. Comes straight from them with a Deutsch 2-pin connector. And then I got the other side, made a little harness for it. You're just following the wire diagrams. So basically, I got my battery in, battery out, and then I'll put the alternator on this, or I put the alternator straight to the battery. So either way, same thing. I'll cover that installation and how you really should set it up when I get there. I picked up some V-bands. I'm going to V-band the exhaust, no big deal. And on with the steering, I'm going to try to keep this OEM steering column cover. So I have to make some sort of mounting system to mount it on this for a clean OEM look. And what I want to do here is I picked up this little guy, this push button. It's from a Ford SVT Focus, one of the new ones. Specific year, like 14 to 16, or I don't really know the year on them. So it comes with the little, well, you have to buy it from like a salvage yard, or you could get it on eBay. And I got it with the little clip. Comes with a little push button starter, and then you want to make sure you get one with some wire harness on it on both sides, so you can, just butt connect your use butt connectors to connect the necessary wires. Then what I picked up is for the SVT Focuses overseas, they have a cool little 4 power button, and it illuminates. So when you push it, goes forward power. I think it's like blue or green or something. So separate, I'll drop a link for where you can pick up one of these. It's kind of hard to find. There's like one place that I found online that you can get it in the States. If not, you got to find it on like eBay Europe or something like that. So I'm going to try to install this. It'll require a little bit of fabrication, some adhesives or something, but I'll get that to fit nice and clean in there and see if I can come up with some brackets that'll go from here to the column, the new lightweight column. So online with this, I used to have these buttons right here. I made this little panel out of aluminum, super easy. I just did cardboard, arts and crafts type stuff, and then transferred it to aluminum and CNC that I'm fortunate enough to have access to. So I replaced the blank buttons that I could never really remember what they're for. And I got some of these from Billet Button. I think it's, let's see here. This guy right here, he's from, I think, Australia or somewhere overseas, but man, quick turnaround, quick shipping. These dudes are cool. They make really cool buttons in all different sizes. I think these are the 19 millimeter buttons. They have 16, I think 19, and then I believe the largest is like 21 millimeter. So the bigger the buttons, the more detail you can get in the buttons. But I got ignition stop, intercooler, ice baby, trans pump, because I'm running a T56 Magnum, and I'm gonna put an oil pump on there for those the front section, and then my line lock. So I think they're cool. They're latching switches, and I'll wire them up so when I turn them on, when I turn them on, they'll stay illuminated, so I know the intercooler pump is on and all that good stuff. So anyway, picked up that to replace those. I think that's cool. Real quick, so the Racewire, I meant to talk about this earlier, but I think where I'm going to put this guy is right here on the dash. Where the glove box goes. Picked up another glove box from the junkyard, and I took the inner portion off. It just unbolts, comes right off. And then when you open the glove box, you'll see this guy. I'll probably leave the cover off just like that because it doesn't need to be sealed. And you'll see your relays and fuses. They sell the little fuses that have the illuminated when they're popped. I'll replace those, these fuses with those, so it's easier to diagnose. And then this guy will go, I'm gonna use this bar and this bar as a mounting piece, and I'll probably use a piece of PVC as a plate right here, and then I'll fix the power cord to the PVC, and I'll put it somewhere like that. So when you open the glove box, you see the fuses and relays, and I've already kind of did some rough looking, but it'll clear the firewall and everything just fine. It'll be hidden, still close to the Holly. The Dominator will sit right up here on the airbag. I've already stripped the airbag, just cut the back piece off, boom. So, and then I'll attach that to the dash, and then you'll see the Dominator back there. But anyway, it'll be right there. All my electronics will now be in the dash on the passenger side. I'll remove all these wires, only keep the things that I need. I think there's only a few. Still undecided on what I'm gonna do with the radio. I only have the little tweeters in there anyway, but some of the streetcar classes that I run in my area require a working radio. And I kind of don't want to be the guy that just has like a hang-in battery operated radio. I've seen some of those cheaters do that, but hey, rules are rules, no big deal. So anyway, I'll keep minimum wires just for heat and AC, streetcar. And then I'll get rid of all that other crap. And that'll be that. So got that. This was my harness for the EMP pump. And since I had already cut wires and I'm moving stuff, I end up buying more wire. Man, I bought so much stuff from Pro Wire. They sell good stuff. All TXL wires, what I've been buying. Better quality wire. Not going to go into it because I'm not a wiring engineer and I don't want people to beat me up on it, but it's just better and carries more load and all that jazz. So anyway, I'm going to remake this harness with the Deutsch connector, and then I'll move all that stuff. So again, all separate videos. I'll talk about this guy here in a minute. So I left my light. So I've been working in here. So I changed the battery box. I used to have one of those tailor-made enclosed battery boxes. And I picked up one of these from Amazon, just a little cheap one. There's many versions of it, but it's just a battery. So I don't have a lead acid battery. I have a, oh frick, I forgot what they're called. AGM. So I have an AGM battery. So it's all sealed in the battery, so you don't have to worry about the dangers of a regular car battery. So anyway, it's open. And I just like it. And the reason why I did it this way is because I didn't like how, matter of fact, I'll just show you. So here's my tailor-made box. And what I was doing was having to open up this area so much to be able to allow the mounting of all the additional wires that now need to go straight to the battery. And we'll talk about that a little bit when I get to the front. But anyway, these are lighter probably than the new mount, but it's just a box. Anyway, this one I think is a little bit more attractive, and it allows my wires, I can install my wires easier. So again, got to get that excess power IntelliSupply. So it's a PSC 15 is what they recommended, and I made a little quick harness for it. So I'll wire that. Anyway, I'll show that stuff when I get there. So I got that, redid the battery box. I'll redo all the battery cables when I get stuff installed. And then this little guy, Arts and Crafts, I didn't talk about it, but it's right here. So I'm gonna change my 4 FC3. Most people put it on the driver's side in the rear, like right in this area right here. And then you have to run all the 4 wires that he had all the way over here to back to this side, and the battery cable to this side. And really, man, that's just extra weight. So what I decided to do was do a little Arts and Crafts, cut cardboard out where the rear speakers go on the top, and I'll show you in a second. So I did a little piece of folder, cardboard, then I started mounting it and playing with it. So I got my battery disconnect, FC3. I'll wire everything to here and then go to the battery. And where this little guy is gonna go is right here. See if I can get you to see it. So right here where the speaker goes. So 1, 2 bolt holes and 3. So I cut a template out to utilize all of this area. You can make it bigger if you want it, but I think that's big enough. So, excuse me, I'll bolt that little piece here, and I bought a sheet of plastic. Right here, 3/16 ABS is what I bought a couple of different thicknesses, and I think the 3/16 will support the weight and give me what I want, give me the desired effect. I didn't want anything too flimsy and it'll flex and cause me problems. So 3/16, I got a sheet, and I'll cut my template off straight off of that, put it in there, and then I'll start running all the wires. Also, for the 4 wires, I think I'm gonna remake a harness out of this. I picked up another boot from the junkyard, and since I only have the fuel tank level sensor wires, the 2, I'll run all my wires through this little boot and make it and clean that up. So, because right now I just like cut holes in there years ago when I put the 4 system in. It's been working flawlessly, but I'm gonna redo that harness. The wires now will be a lot shorter because it'll go from the battery straight up here. But again, I'll cover all that stuff when I get there. So another little thing that I did was I made a little water manifold, and I'm calling it a water manifold, but it's a disconnect point. So my intercooler lines from the trunk mount, because I ran my lines, I covered it previously through here, through this little kick panel, so you can't see any hoses in the car. And I made a tube, a manifold. Actually, I'll just show you because I have another piece. So use one of these, 304 stainless, 1 1/8 ID, and welded 2 of these together. And there they are. You see them right there. It's just 2 of them. So that gives me a disconnect point. Shouldn't have any problems inside. And now if I damage hose or need to replace some or something, I can now disconnect it here. I just have a piece of hose there so stuff won't fall in there. And I just got it clamped to the firewall here. Now I have a disconnect point, and it's that, you know, nice 90 degree. I've seen people use the plastic 90 degrees and all that jazz. I'm after reliability, no issues, so I use metal. A little bit more weight, no big deal. I think it's worth it. That's what I did. Overkill, I completely agree, but whatever. I don't want problems when I'm doing racing mountain work, raceway, or any of that stuff. So anyway, battery disconnects. We'll cover this a little bit when I install the rest. But ground to block, straight to battery. Power only from straight to the battery to here, only for the alternator, starter, and the fans. You do not want the ground noise if you attach like your Holly or anything else. That's only for that, for the starter, alternator, and the fans. Straight to the battery. I'll run its own dedicated Holly Dominator power wire, as the instructions say, and everybody knows. And then that Racewire Solutions box will get its own dedicated power wire and ground straight to the battery. Another little thing, I got some wires here. So I was testing this. Maybe I'll just post a video. I got to talk to Malcolm to see if he'll let me do it. But I'll link his video. He tested these. What this is it's a pulse width PWM controller for the fans, and it allows you to ramp your fans on slowly. That way you don't hit the system so hard when the Holly turns the fans on and off. This guy do a slow ramp. This guy does not work. It's cheap, but it does not work the way it's supposed to. I picked up a little generator, pulse width modulation generator, so I can basically give the pulse width modulation input that the Dominator would, and I can test it here, so I can have it start up. And then I had it connected with my multimeter. Long story short, it's not the right frequency. It does not work well, so I picked up something else. And Malcolm figured this stuff all out already, and unfortunately I saw the videos after. Picked up some of these from a Fusion. This is another PWM factory Fusion part, and I'll talk about that stuff when I get there. I'll do separate videos for everything. Been buying a bunch of wire, different sizes, so I can rewire. I went too big. I went 1/0 for everything, no big deal. And then I got some, I think 6 or whatever as well. So all right, well, that's pretty much what I've been up to. I don't want to make this any longer than it needs to be. Oh, I forgot one last thing. So with the battery cutoff switch, I'll use, let's see if I can get my one hand in here. I use this little push button, right? So you got a push button. Goes on there like such. That guy will go, I bought a spare headlight. I'll go in here. I cut it out pretty clean. Got a little notch right there. And I polish it up, and my cutout switch will go on a reverse light. So I'm missing one reverse light bulb now, no big deal. And then you just cut that piece out, and then that's the piece for my harness. 2 power wires, that's it. Again, I'll make separate videos for all this stuff as I install it, but that's an overview on what I've been messing with. And thanks a lot for checking it out, and stay subscribed.